Hello everyone! We're officially at the end of July 2026, and the indie game scene dropped some absolute gems this month. For today's video, I'm listing the best new indie games from July 2026 you definitely need to play. Well, let's get into the list. Starting at number 20, we have Gurei, a brutal 2D boss rush game from Lobo Saga's studio where you play as Rei, a human spirit fighting 8 mythical kami bosses inside a spooky castle. Here's the gimmick. You can fight the bosses in any order you want, but the ones you ignore get stronger while you're away, basically holding a grudge. Defeating a boss lets you steal their powers, but beware. The game has permadeath, which means one sloppy mistake sends you straight back to square one. Next up is Moss the Forgotten Relic, a cozy fairy tale adventure that lets you experience the beloved VR classics, no VR headset required. Instead of playing as the hero, you're the reader, guiding a brave little mouse named Quill on her quest. You control Quill's sword swings and jumps while directly manipulating the environment to solve puzzles. You can even give her a high five. With clever platforming, satisfying combat, and total screen freedom, helping a tiny mouse save the world is pure, wholesome fun. Next up is Dewdrop Dynasty, a fast and charming Metroidvania from Fireth Studio and Goodgis. You play as a tiny hero running, dashing, crawling, and gunning down giant bosses on a quest to find your way home. It sticks to the classic genre formula, but the super fast movement and focus on firearms make exploring feel lively instead of a slow backtrack. It's short, bright, and packed with quirky characters. If you're looking for a fun, snappy action game with plenty of personality, this one is an absolute blast. Next up is Mahou Arms, an intense action game that blends the flashy combat of Devil May Cry with the stylish world of Nier Automata. You play as Amelia, a magical girl slicing through alien invaders with a giant axe and switching to dual guns mid-combo. The combat is silky smooth, featuring slow-mo dodges and air combos that make you look like an absolute pro. Sure, it leans heavy on the anime waifu tropes, complete with shameless camera angles, but the fast, high-octane gameplay is legitimately fantastic.
Well done. You do take after your mother.
Vandalizing the city streets.
Next up is Database Detective, an indie puzzle game where you solve crimes using the power of actual coding. As an unpaid remote detective for the Los Angeles police, you'll run SQL queries to catch suspects for ridiculous crimes, like overstaying a hotel checkout time. Don't worry if you're not a coder. An in-game manual and a cute mole assistant will help guide your queries. While it only covers the basics of SQL, hunting through databases to crack cold cases is surprisingly addictive. Who knew doing data entry could make you feel like Sherlock Holmes?
Cases, database detectives end up needing to dive into the extensive World Wide Web itself to get more data and look for clues. So what are you waiting for?
Next up is Master Healer Kale with Useless Party, an addictive indie RPG where you play the ultimate stressed out healer. Instead of fighting, you directly control Kale to keep your party alive while they do whatever they want. Your squad includes a phone-obsessed mage, a confused archer, and a sleeping grandpa tank who levels up by taking beatings. You'll juggle mana, manage cooldowns, and navigate a massive 200+ skill tree. It's a hilarious, fast-paced love letter to MMO healers that turns party babysitting into pure fun.
When at last the chaos of battle...
Next up is Tears of Metal, a hack-and-slash co-op roguelike where you lead an army of angry, screaming Scotsmen against brutal invaders. You and 3 friends jump into massive battlefield chaos, fighting giant hordes alongside a battalion of your own troops. You can stack broken artifact synergies, upgrade your village between runs, and watch your soldiers level up permanent traits. It's basically Dynasty Warriors, but powered by pure bagpipe energy. Next up is Ascend to Zero, an action roguelike that will casually steal 9 hours of your life before you even remember to eat. You get just 30 seconds to clear a level, which sounds like an absolute nightmare until you realize you can freeze time dead in its tracks. Once your build clicks, you basically become a walking fireworks accident, deleting entire rooms instantly. The whole game is about one-shotting bosses to chain infinite time stops like a god. It's gloriously unbalanced, deeply addictive, and pure chaos.
Abyssal pool.
Next up is Dive or Die, Children of Rain, a brutal Lovecraftian survival game that plays like a terrifying, high-stress Dave the Diver. Humanity is basically drowned, and you've got 40 days to scavenge underwater ruins for sacred relics before a giant apocalyptic flood wipes you out for good. You'll juggle oxygen and sanity levels on dangerous dives while managing a fragile survivor camp. If a worker gets sick, you can either heal them or throw them to the Rainmaker as a human sacrifice. Hey, desperate times call for horrific measures.
Gotta pull their weight, they do.
Next up is Past the Fear, a fast-paced bullet hell roguelite where you have 12 hours to escape a creepy, corrupted island. You pilot a crew of hilariously terrified weirdos like a guy wearing an iron bucket on his head and a random roadside nun, who are all petrified of dying but forced to fight anyway. The best part of the game is the weapon crafting. You will collect puzzle-like tiles to build custom bullet paths, transforming simple shots into screen-melting fireworks. It's fast, absurdly chaotic, and pure joy for anyone who loves breaking game mechanics. Next up is MOLDRISE, a creepy horror game where you have a gross fungal infection on your foot that's commanding you to climb to the roof. To get up a 30-story apartment building, you have to manage your hunger, thirst, and infection while doing weird favors for your bizarre neighbors. Every time you die, you restart, but you keep your knowledge so you can solve puzzles way faster on the next try. With killer retro music by the developer of Buckshot Roulette, listening to your foot's intrusive thoughts has never been so delightfully gross. Next up is Carpet Cleaning Simulator, a surprisingly addictive cleaning game where you scrub, rinse, and squeegee dirt to earn cash, right until a giant meteor strikes the city and resets time. Every run lets you buy persistent upgrades so you can clean faster on your next loop. If you hate time limits, don't worry. You can even pause the apocalypse to wash carpets at your own pace. Who knew cleaning dirty rugs while avoiding the end of the world could be so relaxing? Next up is Hell Maiden, an awesome mix of Hades, Vampire Survivors, and 90s anime. You play as a girl version of Dante Alighieri, who wakes up with no memories and has to fight her way back to heaven. You run around dodging hordes of demons while your weapons automatically blast enemies away. Between runs, you get to hang out with famous historic poets who are now anime girls. If the real Dante saw this, he'd probably lose his mind, but slicing through hell has never looked this cool or stylish. Next up is Farlands, a super cozy space farming game where you buy a cheap alien planet, only to find out it's a total mess. Instead of regular veggies, you grow weird, colorful space plants alongside a funny robot helper. Once you fix up your old spaceship, you can fly to other planets, dig up cool crystals, and meet weird neighbors. It's basically Stardew Valley in outer space, proving that starting a new life is way cooler when you have a rocket ship. Next up is Angels Fall First, a massive space shooter that spent 10 whole years in early access. It's like Star Wars Battlefront, but cranked to 11. You can command giant battleships, fly small fighters, or run into enemy ships rifle in hand as a basic soldier. It can feel a little unpolished at times, but being able to order a fleet around and then immediately jump into the action is super cool. If you love big, chaotic space wars, this rough gem is totally worth a try. Next up is Pathogenic, a gross and addictive roguelite shooter where you play as an actual disease trying to take down a human. Starting as a tiny bacteria at the skin, you battle your way to the heart against angry immune cells. You get to mutate your cell on the fly, adding guns, worms, or tentacles to build the ultimate super virus. It's fast, weirdly educational, and insanely fun. Who knew destroying a human body from the inside out could feel so satisfying? Next up is Rubinite, a dark fantasy boss rush action game where you play as an exiled princess out for revenge. Instead of hacking and slashing wildly, the combat is all about using a special focus ability to spot monster weaknesses and hit them hard. You'll dodge brutal attacks, defeat giant bosses, and use their drops to make yourself stronger. The game skips boring side quests and focuses purely on awesome boss fights and cool pixel art. If you love tough boss battles without all the extra walking around, this one is an absolute blast.
High street, or perhaps a sense of community.
Next up is Go-Go Town, a super cute town building sim that feels like Animal Crossing on absolute overdrive. You play as a hands-on mayor tasked with turning a ghost town into a booming tourist hotspot. You'll gather materials, build shops, and hire local villagers and even aliens to automate production for you. Furthermore, you can zoom around on a skateboard, or even jump into chaotic multiplayer co-op with your friends. It's wildly addictive, deeply satisfying, and basically impossible to put down.
Make this town your own. Make this town your home. Make this town for them. Make this town productive again.
Next up is Denshattack, an insanely stylish game that's basically Tony Hawk's Pro Skater mixed with Jet Set Radio, except you're piloting a literal train. You play as Emmy, a ramen delivery driver who jumps, flips, and grinds high-speed trains through a dystopian Japan to take down an evil megacorp. You'll pull off fighting game inputs to land kickflips, race rival gangs, and fight giant combining train bosses. It's fast, loud, and delightfully off the rails. And taking the #1 spot is Palworld, a hilarious survival game that feels like Pokemon with literal machine guns. You're dropped into a wild open world where you capture cute, totally not copyright infringing monsters. But instead of just battling, you put them to work in your sweatshop base to craft ammo and cook meals. In addition to that, you can ride flying dragons, capture hostile humans, and hand a rocket launcher to a giant panda. It's goofy, wildly addictive, and turns cute monster catching into pure, unhinged chaos. And best of all, the game is now in full release. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more new and exciting indie games. That's it, and see you next time.